All right, everybody, super excited. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Tuesday. A couple things I want to share with you really quick. The first thing is prospecting. All right, so every single day, you as agency owners should be getting booked appointments on your calendar every single day. And you know my scale calculator, if you can't get booked appointments, it's going to be very difficult to get to the numbers at the end of the month, right? So I'm not going to go over the calculator. I'm going to go over a couple of things that you should be doing right now to generate more and more booked appointments on the calendar, closing those deals, converting them into monthly recurring revenue. So this is what we're doing in Scale for the last couple of weeks. I'm just going to come over here, go live, and tell you guys exactly what you should be doing in your own agencies, right? And having somebody probably hold you accountable to make sure you're doing these things, all right? So first and foremost, there's only two ways that you can be getting booked appointments on your calendar. And if you've been to my live trainings and all of that, talk about both. Inbound, or you run ads and people click on it and go to your funnel and then fill out a form or something like that. That's your option number one. Or outbound, right? Which is you reaching out to your dream customers, you prospecting into companies that you feel are a good fit for your agency because they fit your niche. They have the right revenue size. They may have the right tech stack. They're maybe in your region or your state. Maybe you know somebody in that company, right? So you can reach out to them. That's your second option. Everybody good so far? And if you are, can you put in the chat, like, so far I'm with you, Solomon. It's either inbound or outbound. Inbound could also be marketing. You creating organic content and people like that content. Maybe you're creating content on YouTube. They like that. Maybe you're creating content on TikTok, which is where I think every single agency owner should be doing. And that generates interest. That generates basically demand. They click on a link and they go to your website and fill out a form or book an appointment because you have like a Calendly widget on your website. That's your first option. Now, Clickx, we've always preached ads and we will continue to do that. It's the fastest way to do it. Most of the time, agency owners are strapped on time. And so for that, you should be running ads, okay? Now, today, for the rest of the couple of minutes I have with you, I'm gonna talk about outbound because this is what we're doing. Now, Sean, which is our coach here in Scale, made this beautiful graphic and we've been sharing with our partners so we can go over every single aspect of outbound that you should be able to do every single day while still running an ad agency and maybe doing client work, maybe doing client communication. You need to figure out how to fit outbound prospecting into your day, right? You gotta, first of all, you might need accountability. That's number one. That's what I would tell you. Number two, you need to have a system to be able to accomplish this, maybe the first thing in the morning before you jump into everything else. So here's a few things that we're talking about that you need to be doing every single day if you're not doing inbound. If you're doing inbound, maybe you don't have to do as much. Or if you're doing inbound and you want to get more booked appointments, do inbound, like I say, and outbound, right? And the more aggressive you are, the more likelihood. Look, you just have to find a person who's interested in what you have to say, whether inbound or outbound. As long as the timing is correct, they'll be open to meeting with you, right? Inbound is just a faster way to do it because then you only show ads to people, only click on it if they're if they're in the right mindset and they have it's the right timing. They'll click on it and go into your funnel. You can retarget them. Eventually, they'll book a meeting with you. Outbound, it's going to be a numbers game. The more you can do in a day, more likelihood you're going to be able to book an appointment. Think of outbound like 1%, right? Just like if you want to get 5 meetings, you're going to have to send a lot of emails. Shoot for 1%. So that's like the worst metric you can have. If you're not getting at least 1%, the list is bad. Everything about it is bad, okay? So a couple things that I want to make sure that you guys are thinking about or adding to or optimizing in your prospecting. And if you need more help on this, just put it in the comments. I'm happy to dive in and give you guys more what we do, what we teach, how things work, so that you're shooting for some of the same benchmarks in your agency. Number one is just LinkedIn. Good old LinkedIn. If you're now targeting a B2B segment, LinkedIn's probably the best place, right? Because there's not a better, more accurate database than LinkedIn. So if you're not active on LinkedIn, that'll be a good place to start because you can do inbound and outbound on LinkedIn. If you're not active, that'll be a good place to start. Now, if you're active, maybe start sending some in-mail into some of the targeted accounts that you're looking to go after. And you got to do that about 10 times a day. All right. So this is the goal. Can you do 10 times a day and find people that you should be selling to and then connecting with them, adding value. And this is where I really believe that if you can stick to this, it's going to start doing miracles for you. And secondly, and if your audience is on Facebook, or you can find CEOs of those companies on Facebook, and you would start doing, adding them as a friend and reaching out and saying, hey, I just want to introduce myself. This is what I do. Here's how it works. Here's what I would love to do for you. I'll do an audit. Can I just run some audits through some SEO tools and tell you what you should be doing? How about this? Get some competitors and say, hey, I looked at some of your competitors, what they're doing. Anything I could do on a personal level to be able to connect with just 10 people, right? It's not 500 a day. And guess what? You can probably find a virtual assistant to do it. And I'm sure in this community, there's somebody here that can get you a virtual assistant that can help you execute both. They can help you execute LinkedIn every day. They can help you execute Facebook every day. Now comes even more fun, which is Facebook groups. First of all, going and joining group is great, and I think all of us do a great job going and joining all this group. Guess what we do with that information? We do nothing. We never engage. We don't ever actually add any value. If you see a question that you think you can answer, we don't actually answer, right? We just let it go because we're busy. What I would do is that I would actually work on engaging in those groups and asking questions, asking some sifting questions like, hey, who in here is doing this? Who in here is this type of a company? And then now you have some people that have raised their hand, self-identified them as, hey, I'm that kind of a person that you're looking for. And then you can now have some personal conversation with those people, right? Like, first of all, adding value and not trying to go there to sell, but to add value. But can you do that 10 times? Can you engage maybe just 10 comments a day in the groups that you already belong to, right? You can come here into Facebook group for Clickx and then leave a question and maybe have an engagement, start connecting with other agency owners. Maybe you can do some cross-selling, like maybe they have some stuff that you do, and right, and vice versa. Maybe they do some stuff that you don't. Connect with other agency owners, work together. But where do you make those connections? Right here inside a group with other like-minded people. Does that make sense? Especially the people that you're called to serve. And then email prospecting is one of my favorite things. Email prospecting, we're investing so much time, energy, and money into Clickx's own email prospecting tools like never before. Right. I mean it. I don't know if some of you guys are in it, testing, doing it. Now we're talking about 2 and 3.0 versions of it. Why? Because this is one of the fewest tools known to man that you could scale, and I could talk about scaling even without a VA. Right? Because once you get good data into it, you can now send hundreds of emails and then follow up with these prospects if you really wanted to scale up. So in the future videos that I'm going to be posting here, I'll talk about how we're doing email prospecting for our agency partners, and it is guaranteed to book because these emails are not just one message fits all. These are hyper personalized to every single individual. And we only plan on making that more and more and more better so that they would never feel like it came out of a software or that it's actually, an unpersonalized email, okay? And that one, if you leave it to me, I can probably do 100 a day like that. Should you do a lot? No. I think you should do small quantities and do them consistently. That would be my secret for you. I would do small quantities and I would do them consistently. Why? Because you really want to figure out more and more about your audience and be able to personalize even better and better every single time you get this. Because if you send 100 and you send 1,000 and you stop, see, prospecting isn't a one size, one time and you don't do it for the rest of the year. It's something that we need to do every single day. If you want a really good month, a month ahead, you got to do really good prospecting right now. Again, just like in inbound, we scale up our ad spend. It's the same way as scaling up our prospecting. Once you know what's working, you can scale up. Same thing here. I wouldn't spend a whole lot of quantity. I would spend quality in everything I do so that I can make my messaging better and better. So email prospecting is one of those things where if you're doing it manually, you don't have a tool, you're not using any automation, you got to do 10 a day and stick to that every single day. And then my favorite one I'm going to share with you guys, and this is what we're talking about in scale. So if you're coming to the call later today, we're going to be talking about exactly this. We're talking about phone calls, and it's so good. Some of you guys are so good at calling. You're so good on the phone. You have no idea. Zoom is just a modern day phone, right? That's what it is. You just talk to people. You're seeing them. But if you can do phone connection, I left a message for one of our partners yesterday right on the call. I'm like, hey, your website's down. That was my message. Hey, your website's down, to make sure I got the right URL. So picking up the phone, and if you can connect with 10 business owners, and let me tell you, we're not that far away. I always say that the money is in the phone. If you can figure out a way, right? This is one thing I wouldn't even outsource, because nobody has the experience and the background that you have. How bad do you want it is the question. If you're scared of the phone, you have nothing to do with it, right? And then there's other things that you should be scaling up, because you're not doing the thing that you should be doing in my world. So I love the phone. I don't mind it. I can pick it up and call whoever I want to, because guess what? It's the best way to do it. I'll leave a voicemail. I'll do whatever I can to get the person's attention, because I know that they need my products or services, and I know that if I can help them, I have a moral obligation to reach out to this person. I gotta let them know their website's down. I gotta let them know that this thing's jacked up. I gotta let them know that they don't have an SSL certificate. I gotta let them know that their website's outdated, right? I gotta tell them that. And they would appreciate me for reaching out to them. I'm not selling them anything. I say, I'm reaching out. My name is Solomon. Here's what I want to just share with you real quick. Got a minute? That's what I would do. And I'll send maybe a call, and then send an email saying, hey, I left your voicemail. I have to do that if I really wanted it badly. And sometimes the old folks, like the people that are like old school, maybe, they're not going to check your LinkedIn message and all the fancy stuff. They're going to be okay with it, because guess what? To them, the phone is still in the money, right? This is where the money is happening. They're getting, maybe there's, their appointments are being scheduled on their phone. They're staring at that thing all day. And if you came off from a value perspective, they'll talk to you. If you came off from a sales perspective, they won't talk to you. So is phone still effective? 100%, right? But not everybody's comfortable with it. One, you can get really comfortable with it, or scale up in other areas that you can, okay? So this is what I want to share with you guys. Either it's inbound, number one, which I love absolutely, and all of us are in that business, selling ads and Facebook ads and SEO and things like that. That's inbound, content marketing. Or you got outbound. When it comes to prospecting, and if you wanted an extra 10K a month, if you wanted an extra 20K a month, and you didn't have leads, you didn't have booked appointments, you could either wait and scale your inbound. Maybe it'll be organically another 6 months or 9 months, or you can prospect, right? Which one would you do? Do you want to wait, or do you want to prospect? So this is why I say, if you're doing inbound, great, scale up. If you're doing nothing on the inbound side, you have no booked appointments, you have no choice but to do outbound. There's only two possible ways. Either they're contacting you, or you're contacting them. All right? Put it in the chat if you agree with me. If you don't have any leads coming in, maybe you ought to go out and talk to people, because there's no other way you're going to get booked appointments. And for all of us that are like juggling multiple tasks, you're putting outbound for later, another date. This is when I say hire a VA. All right, I'm going to write down the way VA every single word. This is VA. They can do that one. Can they do the Facebook? Yes, you can do a VA. 100%. Can they do Facebook group? Possibly. It depends on how well you train them. Not everybody can do it. I'm going to say no to that one. Can they do email prospecting? 100%. Right? I would say I want to be involved in my Facebook group. I want to be the one making phone calls. That's me, because those are highly personalized. But once I find them 2 or 20 or 30 contacts and tell them exactly what my intro message is, somebody else could do that for me. All right? Absolutely could do it for me. Somebody could do it better than I can, because I get distracted. I get people calling me randomly, right? There's booked appointments on my calendar I didn't even know about until like half hour before. So guess what? I could be distracted, but I can outsource this to another person who can crush it for me, who can even keep tabs on an Excel spreadsheet. All the people I talked to, opened, got to a booked appointment, they could do better than I can. So is it scalable? 100%. If you can have a VA do it, you can have 10 VAs do it. So can you build an entire business off of outbound, Solomon? The answer is yes. Because every single SaaS company I helped, they invested 10 times more money in their outbound strategy than they did with their inbound, because they know it's predictable. All right, it's a good book for you. If you want to grab a book called Predictable Revenue, Aaron Ross, I'll grab that book. It talks strictly about outbound. Can you do it? If there was a SaaS company that just got funded yesterday, the first thing that they do is build their outbound team. They don't say, let's start blogging so that we can start getting some SEO traffic and let's run some ads and do some webinars. They do that. But let me tell you what is more predictable to them is outbound. All right? So while we're talking about this subject of scaling, I want to talk about what we're doing the end of this month, okay? We're having an amazing challenge that we did like 3, 4, 5 times now. I want you to building our agency, all right? Work on your agency, not in it. The reason why most agency owners can't prospect is that they're too busy working in their agency. They're working in client communication, client updates, client this, client that. They're working in making reports rather than maybe sending it off to a virtual assistant or working with somebody else that can help you execute those reports. They're working in all of this project management sort of stuff, perhaps bookkeeping and all the other things that come with running a business. Definitely HR is a big part of it. But I want to take like 3 days. It's now down to 3 days. The 29th of August, 30 and 31st, the last 3 days of this month. And I'm a big believer of making our year the best year yet, making the quarter the best quarter yet, because we still have control over those variables. We can put in different things in our day that's going to help us have the impact that we want in our pipeline, in your bottom line, your top line, anywhere you look at it. So this month, because of all the craziness that's happening in our economy, that's right, we're in 2 consecutive, quarters with negative GDP. We're having rate hikes after rate hikes, inflation everywhere you look at it. I'm like, either this is a time for us to be living in fear, or this is a time for us to actually thrive. It just depends on which lens are you willing to look through. Are you willing to look through the lens of fear and scared? Oh my gosh, I'm not going to get the revenue that I set for myself. I'm going to repivot. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Or I can say, I want to double down. I just gave you a whole spiel on all the prospecting things that are fully in your control. But you don't even need anybody else unless you really were so busy that a VA was way cheaper than it is, right? Like you're like, hey, I can afford a VA because I'm making a lot of money. Then you could execute outbound in a means so that you can grow. So 3 days. We're talking about niche and offer creation on day 1, the 29th, Monday. We're talking about unlimited lead generation and all of that on Tuesday and putting it all together on Wednesday. Why? Because there's never been a better time, in my opinion, to be working in our agency. Right now, this is the time. We've got to figure out, what do I need to do? How do I need to shift? Do I need to add another niche? Do I need to change my offer? Do I need to charge more, charge less, create a new something? Because small businesses in general, there's never been a better time for them to market. They know the power of it, right? They've been through this. We're all been through this. We're like, hey, we could use this time wisely, generate an extra, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in pipeline. Think about it, just having a better pipeline. You'll have a better September, October, November, whatever it is, okay? So that's what's happening here at Clickx on the 29th. So there is a link that I'm gonna be putting right under this video. I want you to register, and it's like brand new content. Everything about it has been changed. Even if you've gone through it before, you can come to it. It is absolutely free. There's no cost. There's nothing. You just need to spend an hour on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, investing into the growth of your own self and into the growth of your own agency, right? That's why I'm here. I want to help every single agency owner become who they're destined to be. I want them to meet their potential, right? I know you're capable of way more. I believe in you more than you might believe in yourself. But how do you do that? By actually learning what you need to do, by filling in the gap. Man, I should be doing this thing instead of that thing. Maybe I'm investing too much time on this thing that isn't working. I should shift my focus to this thing. But you need to have that outside, light coming in, right? So that's what I want to do with you guys. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, August 29th, 30th, 31st, I want you to dedicate it. Here's what I want you to go ahead and click the link when you watch this video, 10kscale.com. That's the URL, 10kscale.com. Go and register. That's the first thing you're going to do. Secondly, I want you to go block out your calendar for those 3 days, an hour or whatever it is, so that you can be present. You can invest the time, right? I want you to cancel whatever you got going on. That's why I'm giving you weeks in advance. Cancel it. Be present. Take out your paper and pencil. Start executing on the things. We're going to talk about outbound a ton. So this is the place. And I'll tell you where to get data from. I'll show you all the things that I'm teaching our other agency partners. All you need is invest an hour of time. So that's happening. So go and register, block out your calendar, and then leave us messages here. Contact us. Say, hey, what should I be doing in preparation? What should I do? I got pre-trainings for you if you really want it, so that you can be prepared and actually be able to crush it. All right? So that's why I wanted to come live today. So excited, you guys. So much is happening here at Clickx. I could go on for days on that, but what's more important is that you're getting booked appointments every single day on your calendar, back to back to back to back, almost to the point you're like, Solomon, I need a salesperson. Can you find me a closer? That's what I would like to see, not the other way around. And it doesn't matter where the rate hikes are going, the inflation, the government, whatever the bill that they're passing has nothing to do with your bottom line and your take home. Let me tell you, none of that stuff actually makes a difference. What makes a difference is what you would do every single day for your agency, right? That's what makes a difference. What makes a difference is whether or not how many connections you're making, who is working on your business, and how many connections or contacts you're making, how many of them is turning into booked appointments. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your attention. You have no idea how much we value this partnership, and I'll see you next time.